So here it is. The kit is about 95% complete. We had it on the dyno the other night and I ran out of fuel, so I need to go and drop the tank again and install a secondary fuel pump so it doesn't go lean on me while I'm driving it. Some of the details I'd like to talk about are the kit itself. The kit from Huron Speed is actually a really good kit. The install went really well. Everything fit nice. Things that you won't see on the install guide when you look on their website is routing of your AC lines, power steering lines, because your factory AC lines and your factory power steering lines will be really close to the exhaust manifolds if you don't wrap them in heat tape or some type of insulation. You can probably get away with running the factory lines on the power steering, but I went ahead and upgraded them and moved them away out of the way of the heat of the exhaust. The AC lines, currently I maintain the stock lines and found a way to route them so that they're not touching anything on the exhaust. And if you look down here, you're going to need to probably make a little bracket, as I did. And you can't really see it. There's a hose clamp down there. It's a little standoff I made just to keep the line off the turbo. If you're doing this on a stock LS1, you're probably going to be okay with your factory cooling system, factory radiator, etc. You'll probably get away with the derail pusher fans that Huron Speed sells. On my case, I have a built 408 stroker engine, and it was already getting hot on the factory cooling system, so I had to upgrade the radiator to a Ron Davis, and that led into some clearance issues with the derail fans hitting the core support with the AC condenser in place. By the way, this is the AC retaining system. The fans were hitting, so I had to get a set of Spall fans that are a little lower profile, and I managed to get them to fit. But the downside is they're a little lower in CFM according to Spall's website and according to the derails that Huron Speed sells with the kit. So the issues I'm having right now is a lot of overheating when you're sitting in traffic. So that's one thing you're going to have to be concerned about. If it's a stock LS1, you may be okay. But my situation is a bit different. So the plan is to ditch the stock condenser and mount a new one behind the intercooler where the actual intercooler bracket is. There's plenty of room right there, and then have some custom AC lines made from wherever I can find a company who makes them. Let's see, if you're gonna have to change your pump. There's no doubt, there's no way the stock pump's gonna be able to hold up to the additional power you're gonna be putting into the tire. So while you're in there, go ahead and do a dual pump. I would recommend dual 350s at minimum. Some guys have went dual 450s, some guys went triples. It's really up to you. Right now I currently have a single 340, and it was good up to 6 pounds of boost, and we went to 10 pounds and it started dropping off dramatically. So yeah, you're gonna have to definitely upgrade your fuel system. And while you're doing that, I would make it a full return system, as I've done. I've added a fuel regulator, and I've ran a dash 8 hose all the way from the tank up to the fuel rail, and I'm actually using the factory feed hard line in the car as my return. And then I just made a few custom hoses at the back that go from the factory feed line to the return as of right now, and then made a feed line and did a custom fuel filter with a check valve and all that stuff. When it comes time to tune, I'm not sure, but I'm sure there's probably some guys out there trying to run the math. The kit doesn't come set up to run the math, so you have to actually change it to speed density. And the issue you're going to run into with the speed density is you're going to have to fault the mass airflow. So you can go into the HP tuners or EFI Live, whichever software you're using, and you can turn off the check engine light, but the code will still remain there because it has to fault the mass airflow in order for the ECU to go into speed density, and then you can start tuning. So if you're a California resident and doing this like I am, I would highly recommend maintaining all your NA air cleaner assembly, keeping it, and keeping the NA tune in your car, and loading that back in. And all you'd have to do is just take this pipe off right here and just run the NA fuel or air cleaner assembly, and you should be able to get away with it as long as you have a guy who doesn't give a crap about visuals. The install of this kit is not easy. For the DIY guy in his garage, you're gonna get a case of the red ass trying to do this kit on the ground. It's highly recommended to have a shop do it, or if you work for a shop. Luckily for me, I work for a shop that has all the tools and equipment to do this install. You're probably going to need, a welder and some cutting tools, and depending on how clean you want the kit to look. I'm sure there's a lot of guys just zip tying hoses up and out the way from all the heat, but I don't want to do that and want it to look like crap. You're going to spend a lot of time insulating, a lot of heat tape, a lot of header wrap. One thing about the kit that I wasn't too thrilled about is the factory, or the kit comes with an air filter, and they put it right at the turbo, and the turbo pipe that goes from the manifolds is right next to the air cleaner. Plus you have all that heat coming off the radiator, so it's a lot of heat going straight into the turbo, and the intake temps are going to be a lot higher. So I had the guy who did my exhaust, I had him make a new intake pipe because he's got more skill at that than I do, just to kind of get the air cleaner away from the heat. And then you can also go the extra mile and wrap the intake pipe if you go that direction. For the most part, I'm happy with it. It's car's fast as hell. We're still gonna go a little further. So once I get the new fuel pump in, I'm gonna get it back on the dyno, probably go up a few more pounds in PSI. The car did make 630 at the tire when we ran out of fuel pump. And then the other issue I'll have is getting this thing to stay cool. It stays cool when you're running, going down the road, and it'll manage itself at idle. But it's the stop and go during the warmer months here in California. It's just it's not having it. But well, that's it. So I'll do another video when I do the final dyno session, and I'll give you the numbers. So until then.